Epiphany, the glorious good news that is Jesus Christ, is revealed to the Magi. Well, as we step into Matthew's story of the birth of Jesus, we find that the baby is not so little anymore. The angels have returned to the heavens, and the shepherds, those very first visitors to the stable, have long gone. And Mary, Joseph, and the not-so-baby Jesus have moved on too. They may not have gone very far, but they, like time and the heavens, they've not stood still. They're probably no longer in the place they shared with the animals, the place of Christ's birth, but wherever they are in or around Bethlehem, their presence is still marked out by a celestial companion that shines the light of God's love upon them and shows the way to anyone who'd care to seek them out. Today, as we enter into Epiphany season and we begin our exploration into the glorious wonder of Christ revealed, we start our journey by retracing the steps of the Magi, the wise folk who read the good news the universe declared, gathered together their gifts, and stepped out in faith to find him. Where they came from, or how long they travelled for, we do not know. Nor do we know how many there were of these wise folk. Some say there were 3, and that they were kings. That they were rich is without question. That they were also people of wisdom and social standing is beyond dispute. We cannot know for sure who they were. We only know that they, in the richness of their lives, saw something even richer, even more wonderful than their lives. Something amazing had happened, and they wanted to see this miracle for themselves. As is the human way about any mystery, many have sought to delve into the wonder and the mystery of these travellers, but they remain as enigmatic as ever. They are, however, a wonderful and tantalizing glimpse into the mysterious ways of God, as tantalizing and mysterious to us as that star must have been to all who saw it, and especially to these wise people of so long ago. Can we just imagine how excited they must have been to have seen that star rise in the heavens? Nothing like it had been seen before. It was as if heaven itself had been ripped asunder to reveal a light so bright no human eye could look upon it. So intense and beautiful were its glorious rays. This blazing heavenly body must surely have herald something truly magnificent, a great and glorious happening. Something of worldwide, earth-shattering proportions. Well, those wise folk were scholars of their time, and no doubt their studies and mathematical interpretation led them to conclude that the peculiar conjunction of so many planetary and celestial bodies could only point to one thing: a great and significant happening. Something beyond anything that had happened before. A great and significant birth was what they came to conclude. A king had been born. A king so kingly that all earthly kings should bow in homage before him. Well, it was for those intrepid travellers a glimpse of a promise beyond their wildest dreams, and yet even though they knew this blazing heavenly light foretold the coming of someone significant, even they could never have imagined who it was they would see when they reached their destination. Who it was who would receive their gifts and smile upon them with love. They didn't care about the journey, that it was long, hard, and difficult. It cannot have been anything other than those things. Yet they stepped out in faith. And who could have imagined that as they concluded their journey, that the infant king would be found not in a palace, surrounded by riches and powerful people, but instead in a humble house, held safe in the embrace of simple folk. Or when at last they did find him, beneath the rays of that shining star, there was no doubt in their minds that this was the infant they had come to see. This child of surprises was indeed the one they had journeyed far to see. Here, enfleshed in humanity, was everything that they had hoped for. So they bowed in homage. They offered their gifts, and they gazed upon him. And that was enough. And then they went home, enriched and strengthened, strong enough even to defy terrifying King Herod. They went home by another way so as to avoid having to talk to him again. They were strengthened and emboldened because they had seen the one so many had longed for through long ages, the someone no one had really ever expected to see. Well, it is wise folk indeed who step out in faith upon hearing the good news of Jesus to find him for themselves. And having found Jesus, the one above all ones, the King above all kings, give all that they have in love, knowing that they have received far more from him than they will ever be able to give themselves. The one we seek reveals himself to us and to a world in much need, in amazingly wondrous, mysterious, and completely unexpected ways and places. And perhaps more importantly, reveals himself through people we least expect, people just like us. Today, as we enter into the story of the Magi and remember the way that they gathered together their gifts and set out to find Jesus, maybe we should remember that their story can be and is indeed our story. The one we seek is here with us, right now. And it's good to recall that our worship, our prayers, and our very lives are the gifts that we offer. As we gaze upon him, he looks upon us with such love. Amazing love. And in that amazing love, we can do amazing things. Something tells me that as we step into 2021, we will need all the strength we can find to be the people God calls us to be. Well, I know that we can find the strength that we will need in the love that Jesus offers us. And so let our prayer be this. May our hearts, our eyes, and our lives forever shine out the light of the love of God, so that others may see and seek to find Jesus and his strength for ourselves and for others. Amen.